Alright, we're on. Hello everybody. I am resuming my session. Alright, so let's resume the session. So the problem that we're facing right now, it's easier to see now with the debug, is that 1, 2, and 3, they are not displaying as I expected. This one should have been the third one, not the second. So in here, let's try to identify so that's the place. So instead of the current text old, so the current text old should be the next texture, which is number 3. So let's maybe rename the current text old to let's skip that name. We understand it as a pre-image, right? 1, 2, and 3. Therefore, this guy should be setting whenever it loops. It shouldn't do this. This should stay as it is. And let's comment this out, because when looping is not a good moment to do that. So it should be maybe before looping. Yeah, actually just before looping, isn't it? Because current val, set float. Where do we set float of the current val? On the next update. So first we do the calculations, we do the computation of the textures, and then the next we actually set the float, which is good. That's good, I think. The problem is that we are setting the textures in the wrong way. So loop positive, loop negative, good. So whenever it loops, then here we should set the current text old to be the text 3. And then here, why do we set text 2? No, that should be text 3. Update old text while it's not being displayed. So while it's not being displayed, so text 2. So previous. Maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe we should only do it while looping. Yeah. Right, so here let's set the config starting speed. So let's set it to 0.7, a bit faster. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, this is not good. Okay, so according to the shader, when we are on -1, we are displaying the looping of the third one. So 1, 2, and then 3, all the way to the end of 3. So when we loop this to -1, yes, it doesn't work because -1.1. Okay, so here times this. So what if we do this? Yeah, that doesn't work. Yeah, so that's not really what we want. Three, 1, 2. One, two. Okay, yeah, that might work. we do +1, 1, 2, 3. And then, okay. Here, that's not what's happening, so here, yes, so that's what's happening, and then previous is the top one there, it's good. And then current is 2, that's correct. And then next, we don't really need next, do we? Three. This is the top one, which is the current, and then next being that one. Yeah, that sounds good. And then, so this being the next one, all the way to there. Now here, plus call previous tags. So I want to do that. No, I want to yeah, now it's starting to be too complicated that every section can display either 3 ones. So we want to simplify. How can we simplify that? The first one should be displayed entirely when it's -1. Now this should be the third one. Because then when we go to here, then it loops if that's the third one. So at 1, this is the third one, and then here we sample the previous tags. we resample the previous tags, but then plus float to 0, 1. If it's between 0 and 1, and if it's between 2 and 1, how can we sample that? Well, regardless, here so here we are right there, so we're sampling the previous tags. Oh, so we are here already. Yeah, we are here. So previous tags. Hi, Alphabra. Do you know any decent bootcamp schools to learn programming in London? That's a very good question. I actually don't. Bootcamps are quite expensive usually, so it's not something I had in my budget ever. So I wouldn't know to recommend. Sorry about that. Is there any particular area that you want to focus on? So here, so we're sampling the red one here, and then yes, that's correct. So those two are correct. This is good. Now this one is also correct. Yeah, that's good. So right there. So that's the next texture, 3, which is correct. Now here, well, I just started learning on my own. Got through a lot of HTML, CSS, starting JS soon. This is quite different from my world of game development. There is like Three.js, which is a popular framework to work with JavaScript for making 3D scenes. But usually people wouldn't make like big games and titles with this. They would normally make like apps for 3D visualization of all sorts, not necessarily games. My guess is because JavaScript is a bit messy in compared to what we normally do in Unity or Unreal when it comes to game development, of course. But yeah, what I like recommending is, if you have an interest, or if you discover an interest while doing some Coursera or some courses, or university, if you are already, that's great. So if you discover some sort of interest, just try to do an indie project, and that might bring a lot of learning with it. It's kind of what I share, because I'm hoping to learn things that I can share with people as well by doing the things on my own. So like right now, it seems like a easy thing, but if we have a shader that controls the tiling of 3 textures, that seamlessly loop infinitely, it's actually not that easy. Like the mapping of the UVs have to be spot on. And for now I have it starting with the first image over there, which shouldn't be there. Should be the third. So there I want it to be the next text. Like there, yeah. And then, yeah, actually I had it similar already set up like that. So here, so instead of +1, 3, 1, 2, and then 3. So 3, 1, 2. Let's try the range. -1 to 1, -1 to 2, 2, yeah, -1 to 2. Yeah, that sounds reasonable, because then we have enough space for dealing with it here. So -1, 3, yeah. And then here, if it comes to uv.y being, yeah, smaller than, yeah, smaller greater than u1, then here it should be displaying, what should it be displaying? The current? So the previous text. Yeah, that's correct. Hopefully. No, it's not correct. So uv2, so is that displaying it hard? I mean, I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, so that's correct. So whenever the uv.y is smaller than 1, and so whenever the uv2 else, don't like putting else there because generic catching. Ah, yeah, so if it's smaller than 0, because it's the opposite. So confusing. Okay, so now, if we go to, from -1 to 2, we are looping seamlessly. So that's the key point I was missing before. So -1 to 2, because -1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, so we can replace 2 minus minus 1. So let's remake this part here now. Okay. Look positive and look negative. Get current val plus time speed. Okay, so let's see, where do we use the current val? Literally almost everywhere, but the most important parts is here. So -1, that's good, that's where it starts. -1 to 2. Okay. So current val is positive, so -2. Okay, here is 1 is 2f. Can I actually put it here? Yeah. Current val mean. And here we do the positive mean. Alright, so here max, current val max, there's current val. Current val max, current val mean. Okay, so I think that could do it. I think this part I will have to rewrite anyway, but let's see. Okay, so that's, see, what if we just don't update textures? 3, 1. That makes no sense. Okay, so it's going beyond 2. This is not looping. So get current val. So this is just updating there. Okay, so this is temporary while we test without updating textures. Three, 2, 1. One, 2, 3. Okay, so here we can replace 2. Alright, so here we got the current val being looped without updating textures. So let's see how that looks like. and then we think, when can we swap what? Because that's the important question here. So here, like the longest smartphone like this. So in the worst scenario of like this, even a bit tighter, yeah, we won't be displaying 3 images at the same time. Yeah, we might here 1, 2 and 3. So this we can't, so it's when it's -1. Alright, so let's see. Let's just update the current val. And then update textures. And update textures is get status update. So let's get the status update. So if the current val is bigger than current val max, right, so here current val is just increasing, just incrementing, because it can increment negatively if you put a negative speed, of course, but okay, besides the point. So current val, then we loop, that's correct, get status update. So here loop positive, loop negative. So if current val is -1, now when looping positive or looping negative, okay, when looping positive we change to current texture. When looping positive, we change the current text. current tax owed. We don't need that. We really don't need that. Yeah, let's try to comment this out because it's really confusing. Next. So when yeah, so before looping, just when looping or before we change current. Yes. In the manager. So whenever we loop positive, we change the current. Whenever we loop negative, we change the current too. Okay, that's good. Now next, okay, so whenever we are 0.3, where 0.3? 0.2, so when we are greater than we are smaller than 0, no, when we're, what do? We swap previews. So to swap previews, it has to be bigger than ratio. It's the ratio. Ratio is 1.222. So ratio times, no, ratio minus 1. And it hasn't swapped the previous. Cool. Okay, so and then next, when do we swap the 3? When it's we swap the next one when the current value is when swap next when the current value is smaller than 0 and or equal current val min. Current val is smaller than 1f, smaller than minimum plus ratio minus 1f Yes, that's the one. Then it should swap next. Okay, that's good. Loop positive, so then current val is whatever that how it does. Text old, not anymore. Okay, so swap the positive or negative, change current text, text 2. Now here is the bizarre thing, swap next. I'm going to do text 3. And swap previous, text 1. And then we're gonna do this. Okay, so shall we try that? 1, 2, 1, 2. No, that's not good, is it? Where's the third one? One, two, three. Okay. Ah, yes, so swap next is 3 and swap previous. Yeah, it's 1. Let's see. Tax ID 0, 1, and 2 of the same tax set. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to bounce now. I'm gonna put it on pause. Alright, I'm back. Thanks for hanging out. And here we're back. So I've got the looping on the shader side, which is getting the third image on top beginning. So that's the trick, because depending on the tiling offset, in the tiling that we set, when I put 2, it's exactly the same thing. So that's good, we're looping that. Now on the C# side, we need to be able to wrap the current value from -1 to 2. That's the first thing. Maybe we shouldn't. Okay, swap previous and swap next, false. And when we loop, it's set to false again as well. Yeah, I think that's it. Only when we loop. Yeah, that makes sense. Swap previous is true. So then only in the next loop it will, yeah. Let's try that. Set texture, text 3, when swap next. Text 1 when... it's text 1 at previous text, not next. There you go. Okay. So here we do this. And then... yeah. That's the one, okay. So now we have the bug log for all of them, and then we should see it happening right now. 2, 3, so previous, swap current val, so previous. One, 2. Why swap previous only and not swap next? Yeah, because we're setting it to false. Oh no, yeah, we're setting to false whenever we loop. That's expected. That's good. Then swap previous text, text 1. Swap next text, text 3. And swap next true. Swap previous true. Okay, so if current val is blah blah and is smaller than minimum plus ratio, -1/2 and hasn't swapped next, then status swap next. Previous, return item. So why is it not working there? It's only triggering swap previous, but not swap next. So if the current val is maybe swap next needs to be positive, loop negative. So the positive current val is current minimum plus current val minus current max. To look positive, it means it's going to be -1 plus whatever the difference is between the current value and the maximum. So if it's like 2.1, then yeah, if it's like 2.1, it spits out -0.9 because it was 0.1 beyond the max value. Beyond the max value, yes. And here, because it was 0.2 below the minimum value. Okay, so this is correct. Hey Duke, how are you doing, man? Or how are you doing, Duke? Didn't mean to gender stuff. Anyway, what's up? Just doing some coding in C# here to try to match my shader work on the indie game called Scary Tower. And I'm currently numbering the textures so that I follow them through when swapping them. So my current problem is that it's not hitting the swap next conditions. So it's only swapping the previous right now. So it's never getting here. In swap next. Why does it never get here? That is the question. So let's do debug mode here. I know the editor has an issue and it displays some errors, but anyway, it's fine. Swap previous and swap next is false. Ratio 1. Yeah, okay, that's good. I'm very good, Duke. Happy to be working with this project again. It's an opportunity I had. There's a lot of learning and a lot of sharing of tips and workflows. Like right now, I'm doing this background seamless loop, which works without C# running. This is from the editor. Unfortunately, there is an editor bug whenever the inspector is in debug mode. In case you're familiar to Unity, such things can happen, but yeah, whenever I update to the next version, it should be fixed. But in the meantime, I don't want to do that because I want to focus on my code. So I've got this background that is an image with a material. This material has a special shader that I wrote right here, which samples 3 different textures, previous, current and next, in such a way that if the current value is -1, it's going to be sampling the third one, the next texture, just a tiny bit on top, and then it will go through 1, 2, 3, and then all the way back to the -1. So it's a seamless loop that allows us to just set the textures and then passively just control the current value, and very cheaply it will update the texture. So that's what I'm working right now on. But now, why is it not hitting the next texture? The next texture should be changed whenever the current value is greater than minimum value. Let's go back there. So this conditional is not triggering. Current value is bigger or equal than minus current value min plus, yes, plus ratio -1f. Yes, and current value is smaller than 0. Yes, and then it hasn't hot preps. That should solve it now. Because now I'm checking if it's bigger than the... Oh, nice! Thank you for the follow, Duke. Thanks a lot. Means a lot to me. So that should fix now, because if I put it to 2 loops, yeah, now it changes without any... Ah, no, damn it. Wait, on the top, it's still... Okay, so maybe... Okay, let's see when does that happen. By the way, this... Yeah, 0.7 is good. So without changing the textures, it's triggering the swap previous and swap next. It's yeah, that's my intuition, just to encourage and inspire other people, while I get inspired by my own projects. It's a really cool thing to do. But have a good afternoon or a good day, whatever you are, Duke. And see you next time. Well, for the others following, I am still trying to figure out that part. So here we got the swap next and swap previous, swap next, previous one. Yeah, that's good. Swap next. That's good as well, isn't it? Because it's the 3. Okay, let's see if we put 3. Previous. So previous, so if the current val is greater than ratio -1f, current val is to simplify maybe a little bit. I don't think that's going to solve it, but at least it's a bit more simple if it's 1. So if it's this, swap previews because that's gonna happen. No, actually no, the other way. Swap next, because swap next is in the smaller range of number and it should happen first. Yes, because yeah, okay. And the current val of the ratio minus 1f. Okay, so it's greater than this. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so swap to next. Yeah, let's put it to the next line because it's a bit more tidy. Okay, so here and swapping previews. Swap previews. Maybe when it's bigger than so as soon as it becomes bigger than this, so as soon as it becomes bigger than 0.77, minus 1 plus 0.222 times 2. Yeah, let's try to times it by 2. That's when we swap the next. Oops. And then here we should try and do a similar thing. So previews is ratio, so ratio is 0.222. Okay, let's try that now. No. Swap next. Triggers too early, wasn't it? Okay, so let's see here. It should also be smaller than 0. Okay, that should solve it. Swap next, it was too early. Was it too early? No, it's not too early, that's correct, because that's what my stupid brain did. Whereas it should be like now. Now why is it so much? Ah, so maybe that's why. Because the set texture scale, aspect ratio changed. Yeah, that happens. Let's see on the init. We call it once because we need to. Yeah. That's the mistake. Wasn't calling on start. Therefore, the number that was there was not the right one. So now if you go to 0.3, then we put 2 loops. Okay. Let's see. What? No. Swap next. 2, 3. Okay, so let's do this. So here, 1, 2, 3 numbered. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, good. So what we want to do here is to check when. So -1 plus 0.249. Yeah, that should be fine. So that's to swap the next. So swap next should be minimum plus ratio minus 1f. Ratio. Do I set the ratio here somewhere? Ratio is already 0.807. 0.8. Why 0.8? Okay. Okay, so the ratio was a different number than what I expected. I'm gonna chase it. Hey, hey, how are you doing? Thank you very much for the follow. Smerdiakov. If I can ask, does that mean something in one language? Because it means something not very nice in Portuguese. That's why yeah, couldn't contain the laugh. Right, so here the ratio is like 0.08, was it? Something like that. No, 0.804. Yeah, 0.800. That doesn't make any sense, this ratio. So at least that's not a ratio that I want to go for. So whenever we do init, we call this. And this is good. So it's set to get texture scale is a factor 2. Inverted ratio, yes. So we want the inverted ratio, not the ratio. So we want the inverted ratio. Okay, now that should do it, hopefully. Come on, unit, stop screaming at me. Done. Okay. So inverted ratio instead of ratio. There's the one that I was looking for. That's why it was causing me a lot of trouble, because I wasn't understanding why the things didn't trigger exactly the moment I wanted. But now, hopefully, I did it right. Yeah, swap next, swap previous. Okay, let's do it. Now, swap next. Perfect. Swap previous, perfect. That's it. Brilliant. Nice. So now we can increase the speed a little bit to do a longer test. Finally. 3 days working on it, but yeah, I'm happy with it now. Cool. So let's change it back back to its default. 2 and 3. Same here. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. That's so nice. Finally, got a seamless looping background shader. So I'm not happy with the artifact of the PNG, but that's because of the image itself. And I'm gonna have to go back to the artist who made it and say, so hello dude, I'm reviving this project, and let's say from 10 years ago, and I want to get those Photoshop files fixing this issue. Let's see if he responds to that, and at least for the moment I'm really happy with the progress of this. I have a whole set of any number of backgrounds. At the moment I have 13, and I can divide it into different sets and have that change as well accordingly. So that's beautiful. That's what I wanted. Okay. So what now? Now we make a commit. How is it then? RM, so git rm recursive make a backup of the local folder and put in a safe space, safe place. Okay, so in this case we need to do something here. We need to do user settings. Let's put it into library. Let's close Unity for that. Let's put it in library. And then git rmf cursive cached user settings. Status. Now if you go to the git ignore file, okay, let's do user settings as well. Because, you know, I might be developing in Visual Studio, then another person might be developing in Rider or VS Code for Molecular. So user settings are not really a need to have in the Git repository. So git status, change the git ignore, click git add everything. Sorted out background texture replacement. Push. Cool. Now I can go back to my folder, put user settings back where it belongs, and it shouldn't pop up anymore. So git status. Yeah, because it's in git ignore now. Okay, so let's reopen our project. Because there are some things I want to do. For example, I wanted to clean up this mess, really. So to clean up this mess, I need to go into the background manager, update current val. That's good because it's straightforward. We don't need this anymore. Actually, let's skip it, because yeah, in case we ever want to test that. And then we delete all that stuff that was unnecessarily complicated. So previous text 1, swap next text 3, text 2, yeah, positive, yeah, that's it. Another thing I need to test is when this speed is negative. That's something I haven't tested yet, so let's see. Okay, so that's fine now. Let's change the speed for negative. Oh yeah, so with negative it doesn't work. Okay, but that's... Do we want it to work for negative speed? No, we don't. No, yeah, we don't want it to change for negative speeds. So let's just consider that a limitation. In this case we can remove those, because we no longer need them. Too much complication for that. Cool, so okay, it's about lunchtime now, and I will continue that another day. Thanks a lot for watching, thanks a lot for sharing, following, and see you next time.